Is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
We're unmuted.
Nicole, good?
Yeah, we started it.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the disability meeting for December 2023. Please make your introductions for the record.
Stephanie Denver, representing Commissioner Caban.
John Dorset, designee for Control Bradley.
Brian Berge, representing Mayor Eric Adams.
Phil Boots, designee for Finance Commissioner Preston Nyblack. Damian Law, alternate for Commissioner Nyblack.
Arthur Regner, PBA.
Chris McGrath, PBA by invitation.
Frederick Winter, PBA. Alice Turner, PBA.
Mark Greeno, PBA by invitation.
Nicole Jambrisi, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation of the fund.
Edmund Small, SBA. Jeffrey Ward, DEA. Nick Sifuni as counsel for an invitation of CEA, LBA, SBA, and DEA.
Johnny Ramirez, CEA, with the proxy of the LBA.
Anthony Burley, SBA.
Mark Tiskevich, Office of the Actuary by invitation.
Andy Visacura Miller, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation.
Eli Kleiman, Chief Surgeon, present by invitation.
Kevin Holloman, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation.
Nico Bro, present by invitation, medical division. Trisha Wall with medical division, present by invitation.
Bob Sankey, State Pension Fund, present by invitation.
John Flynn, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation. Stanley Thomas, Police Pension Fund, by invitation. Victor Diaz, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation. Joe McConaughey, PBA, present by invitation.
Lenny Amante, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation.
Angela Chris, Police Pension Fund by invitation.
Esther Anderson, Pension Fund,
Oh, I'm sorry, Law Department?
Yes, Marta Ross, Law Department, present by invitation of the Mayor's Office.
Aaron Trotter, Law Department, present by invitation of the Mayor's Office.
And Gatsy Dalal, Law Department, present by invitation of the Mayor's Office.
Okay. Ready? Set. Public meeting, page 1. To accept minutes of previous meeting, Wednesday, November 8th, 2023, and to confirm the next meeting date, Wednesday, January 10th, 2024.
So noted.
So noted. Article 2, page.
Yeah. Pages 2 through 97, there's nothing of a contentious nature. So move that.
Thank you. Page 98 to 100, resolution, medical board legislation. Table. Page 101 to 123, presentation, order to grant Thornton, New York City Police Pension Fund post-order presentation for the year ended June 30th, 2023. Okay, just waiting on them to enter the room.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
Introduce yourself for the record.
So, good morning. I'm Sharon Campbell. I'm a managing director with Grant Thornton, and I was the lead auditor on this engagement. Both the other systems, I've been the lead signing partner for the last 4 years. And I appreciate the opportunity to present to you our required communications and the update on our audit this year for June 30, 2023. Before I begin the presentation, I would like to give a shout out to management, Stanley, Sunny, Anna, Jacqueline, and their team. They did a tremendous job this year. Just amazing work, very collaborative, high transparency, spirit of full disclosure, and responsiveness to the audit requests that we had. Their commitment to quality is evidenced by the receipt of the GFOA Certificate of Achievement in Financial Reporting this for 2022, which will be included in the 2023 ACRA that they plan to file within the next couple of weeks.
Thank you. No surprises there. It's a great team.
Yep. All right, so. Okay. So this is my engagement team. It's not the full engagement team. It's just a few of my leaders of the engagement team. The full comprehensive engagement team would take up probably the entire slide, if not a couple of slides. A few of my managers are on today with us in case we have any questions. Okay, this next slide is an audit timeline. Doesn't really do it much service because I can say that the audit goes on for the entire year. It doesn't stop in October. October is when the financial statements are released for the New York City ACFR purposes, but then we continue on for Police Pension Funds ACFR in December, and then we start the planning process again in January and February each year. Okay, going to go over the responsibilities in an audit. So those charged with governance, Board of Trustees, are responsible for overseeing the financial reporting process, setting a positive tone at the top, and challenging the plan's activities in the financial arena, discussing significant accounting and internal control matters with management, informing us of fraud or suspected fraud, including your views about fraud risk, and informing us of any matters that might be relevant to the audit. Management is responsible for preparing and fairly presenting the financial statements and any required supplementary information, designing, implementing, and maintaining internal controls relevant to the preparation of the financial statements, maintaining sufficient records with respect to participants, and the full list of management's responsibilities is included in the engagement letter. And then, as your independent auditors, we are responsible for obtaining assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free of material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and issuing an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Okay, we approach the audit using a risk-based approach, and we identify significant risks. One significant risk that is inherent in all audits, not just these types of audits, is management override over internal control over financial reporting, which is based on presumed risk in professional standards of risk of manipulating the financial reporting process by manipulating or recording inappropriate journal entries. So in order to address that risk, we obtain an understanding of the financial reporting process and controls over journal entries and other adjustments, as well as the suitability and design of the implementation of such controls. We make inquiries of individuals involved in the financial reporting process, as well as those outside of the financial reporting process, about any inappropriate or unusual activity relating to the processing of journal entries and other adjustments. We consider any fraud risk indicators, the nature and complexity of accounts, and the entries processed outside of the normal course of operations. And based on the procedures performed, the controls appear to be designed and implemented appropriately with no significant exceptions identified. Okay, moving on, other areas of focus. One of the biggest areas is the investment valuation, investment income. So we confirm 100% of the investment positions. We evaluate the reasonableness of the fair value disclosures. On a sample basis, we test investments held at year end to determine the reasonableness of that fair value. And then we also test purchases and sales, the sample of purchases and sales throughout the year to test the reasonableness of those reported fair values. We evaluate the reasonableness of investment expenses. And we did identify audit adjustments that have been booked and reflected in the financial statements. There were no significant other adjustments or exceptions noted in this area. Another area of focus is member contributions. We test the completeness of the population of member contributions, and then on a sampling basis, we test the eligibility to contribute, as well as whether the contribution amount was calculated appropriately and withheld in accordance with plan provisions. Okay, another area of focus is benefit payments. We test the completeness of the benefit payment population, and then on the sample basis, we review the supporting calculations to determine, one, that the member was eligible for the type of withdrawal that's been requested, that the benefit payments were appropriately authorized and calculated based on plan provision. There were no exceptions noted there. Total pension liability is another area of focus. We test the completeness and the accuracy of the census data. Using our in-house actuary, we assess the reasonableness of actuarial assumptions, methods, and inputs used in the calculation of the pension liability. And then on the sampling basis, using our census automation tool, we identify our selection and then test the demographic data included in the census. Other areas of focus: employer contributions, member loans, information technology, general controls, and the adequacy of disclosure. Does anyone have any questions? So as mentioned, we use our Human Capital Services, our actuarial support, to review the reasonableness of the actuarial assumptions and methodologies. We also use our New York pricing group to assist us in the valuation of investments. And then we use the subcontractor, Galeros Robinson. Okay. Going back to the significant risks I talked about earlier as it relates to journal entries, we use whole ledger analytics to assist us in this. It's an automation tool that's used. Basically, it pinpoints transactions that appear to have a higher risk of management override of controls based on cumulative risk scores. The cumulative risk score is generated based on how individual transactions perform against 38 routines that are designed to identify any unusual transactions or those that could indicate fraud. For the entries that we tested, that this generated, we obtain underlying support, evaluate for the validity in the normal course of business, and obtain evidence of approval of the journal entry. Okay. This slide is just a placeholder to remind everyone of the importance of cybersecurity, internal controls over systems, and the segregation of duties. All right, ITGCs, or Information Technology General Controls Review. The areas of focus here were security administration, program maintenance, program execution, technology operations, and cybersecurity. There were control findings related to IT, which have been communicated in our management letter. Okay, basic financial statements. So we issued a clean, unmodified opinion on the basic financial statements. We expect to do the same for the ACFR that will be released within the next couple of weeks. There were no scope limitations. There was open and effective communication with management, and any internal control and best practice recommendations have been discussed with management. Again, we expect to issue the ACFR within the next 3 weeks, and it will include the GFOA certificate of achievement. Okay, so we're required to communicate, we're required to accumulate and communicate financial statement misstatements, which may be factual, judgmental, or projected, that are identified during the audit. We've included that communication with the management rep letter, which should be included with your packet, as well as the management letters that were provided. I'm also required to communicate the quality of accounting practices, so the accounting policies are clearly disclosed in the financial statements, and they're considered appropriate in all material respects and consistent with the prior year. Significant accounting estimates include the fair value of investments and the total pension liability and the related disclosures. And we have assessed the financial statements and disclosures for clarity and completeness, and the footnote disclosures appear to be informative, consistent, and clear. Okay, I'm not going to go through every single slide here. I'm just going to highlight some points. We were not made aware of any fraud or any significant non-compliance with laws or regulations. Again, significant deficiencies have been communicated, included in our management letter that's dated, I believe, November 29th. I don't have it in front of me. That's shared with you. We're not aware of any significant unusual transactions, no disagreements with management, no significant issues, or any significant difficulties encountered during the audit. Okay. This is just a slide that includes the technology that we use to perform our audit. Management is aware of some of these because they use them with us. And then this slide just goes over our robust independence policies and the quality control system that's supported by comprehensive policies and procedures that meet or exceed regulatory requirements. And then finally, our commitment to promote ethical and professional excellence. We've provided this internet-based hotline. This ethics point is not intended to act as a substitute to whistleblower obligations. And that concludes my presentation. Does anyone have any questions? Excellent. Well, I appreciate everybody's time today. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful holiday season.
Thank you. Happy holidays. Thank you.
Vinnie Gunn.
Very good. All right, so I guess we'll, so note that for the record.
Yeah.
All right. So note the presentation. Page 124, resolution, retiree change option.
Good morning. I received a request to convert to national. The member supplied all the relevant documents. It's been reviewed. It's needed.
Very generous.
Do you need a motion from us to do that?
Can we just put the member's name on the record? Is that, do we normally do that, or?
Yeah, we can turn it on.
Yeah, so, because it just says retiree, so.
It's in the resolution.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, what rank is he though?
Police officer.
Police officer? Right, so we'll do it. You need to make some motion to approve the resolution.
Sorry, second?
Yeah, we make the motion.
I bet you she kept the house.
Wait, who seconded it?
I did, I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right.
No.
To give away those benefits.
Thank you.
Good luck about it.
So I believe that concludes the crowd agenda, and I make a motion that we exit, public session and enter into executive session.
Do we have a second? Second. All right, please press your phone, executive session.
Just need to-